All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you right there, just like me right here. Try to break the algorithm, people. Watch the videos. I don't know. I guess these topics, I don't know. I'm not in the vortex, let's put it that way. Here's a guy who's in the guitar vortex. This is Eric Clapton. This is a wonderful album that came out couple of years ago now. It's The Lady in the Balcony, and the lady happens to be his wife. Very cool. This kind of captures the mood of the thingdemic, where Eric was being told that he couldn't play gigs anymore. So he's out there playing gigs now. And the media, they have to pick apart anything that Eric Clapton does. They've got the COVID hangover. They didn't like the way Eric decided to go against the prevailing narrative where all the zombies are just walking around, all the fish are swimming in the same direction, and Clapton decides to swim against the tide. Him and Van Morrison and a handful of people, Travis Tritt. There weren't many. So Eric Clapton was right. They were all wrong. I don't know. I guess they might be holding a grudge a little bit. But here's the headline. This is prior to King Charles and his coronation. Eric Clapton receives six-figure sum to perform bizarre restaurant gig for Lizzie Cundy. I don't know who this is, but I'm assuming it's somebody important. And does it really matter? I think this is the free market behaving like the free market should in this situation. Again, Eric Clapton is the greatest living guitarist. Jimi Hendrix is gone, been gone for a long time. Stevie Ray Vaughan, gone. We just lost Jeff Beck recently. Who else? Eddie Van Halen, gone. So there are a number of guitarists who are no longer here. There are still some good ones out there, but Eric Clapton really still the best, still at the top of his game, even at 78 years old. Just amazing. Now, my guess is that the media doesn't like any of this. They would prefer that Eric would have this dignified retirement, that he would stop bankrolling all these people that didn't want to destroy their immune systems. They just, they were hoping that Eric would just fade away. Eric's put out some really great music during that time frame. In addition to The Lady in the Balcony, he's come out with a few originals, a couple with Van Morrison, and he just, I think, maybe one with Van Morrison and then a couple on his own. In any event, he sounds great, and he's willing to work. And so based on who he is, based on the intimacy of the venue in question here, which is a bizarre restaurant gig, I think he probably deserves what he's getting as far as income from that event. But they highlighted his net worth. They highlighted the fact that he's making six figures on the gig. Well, good for him. Good for him. He deserves it. His reputation was put through the ringer. And by the way, the money isn't going to compensate for that. The money, though, is there because he's Eric Clapton. Duh. And so this article makes it sound like, well, why would he play this event? I don't know, because he probably enjoys playing smaller venues. You can hear things better. It's a more intimate event. You can interact with the people who attend. And folks, this is it's the free market. It's not complicated. I know for the news media, everything is difficult and everything becomes a scandal. It's not. So it says here, the legendary guitarist, 78, who is set to join a slew of A-list stars at Windsor Castle over the weekend, that was last weekend, played a number of hits at the champagne-soaked soiree. Perhaps the six-figure check had something to do with it. And there's your story. And people look at it and they go, yeah, Eric Clapton, he's just bankrolling all these people that want to hear him play. I mean, that's called the free market. It's called capitalism. You know, I mean, there are plenty of bands that go out there and solo artists who do private gigs and they earn a significant income. Why? Because they're playing a private gig. They don't have the benefit of having this big stadium and selling 10,000 seats or something like that. So, yeah, you want me to play there? I'll play for an hour. This is the contract. They signed the contract, and so Eric Clapton gets the six-figure salary for 1 hour's work. Not bad. Not bad. Good for him. See, I don't have any problem with this because, number one, they agreed to do it. Number two, Eric Clapton is probably the only man on the planet that would be worth that six-figure sum. And in addition to that, Eric still sounds great. He plays great. And that's all I got. That's pretty much the entire story. It's just another instance of this ongoing, I don't want to call it slander, but it is kind of like slander. It's just whatever Eric Clapton does, you know, it's a problem. I mean, they've definitely eased off. I mean, the media here in the United States have kind of just left that narrative because I think they were all told at the same time, okay, emergency over, let's not talk about this anymore. But they still bring it up, and they tend to look down on people who didn't go along with their insanity. I didn't go along with your insanity. I was right, you were wrong. I'll say it 100,000 times. All right? That would be a waste of time. But I would say it at least 100 times, okay? Anyway, folks, just another day in the life of Eric Clapton, I guess, right? He's out there and he's still doing great. And he and Jeff Beck have a song that is forthcoming, which I've known about for quite some time. So I feel very blessed and privileged on that end of things. The late, great Jeff Beck. So that's another reason Eric is still here. And you should appreciate the fact that he's still here and celebrate it rather than using words like bizarre. Because and this goes to the whole idea, Eric Clapton, he's not going to do what you expect him to do, which makes him great. Whereas everybody else just does what they're supposed to do. And I love that independent streak, and good for him, you know? Easier to play for an hour and go home. He's 78. He's not Bruce Springsteen. He's not going to stay out there for 3 hours. And I don't think a lot of people at this stage that are following somebody like Eric Clapton want him to play for 3 hours. They hear the songs that they know and love, and that's enough, you know? Otherwise, you go out and you buy CDs like this, and you listen to them in the comfort of your own home, and you appreciate the genius of one of the world's best guitarists ever, people. All right. Thanks for watching the channel. Again, you can help me beat the algorithm by subscribing to the channel, liking the videos, sharing the videos. Then there's Patreon for $1 a month, $5 a month. I'm kind of looking to bankroll a wealthy donor. Any wealthy donors out there at this stage, because then it wouldn't matter. I would just look at the YouTube statistics and go, whatever. It's down again. You know, you wake up in the morning, you look at your phone, and you're like, the analytics show that it dropped by another. I mean, literally, it can drop by hundreds of dollars overnight. And it's tragic because this is monthly. This isn't daily. This is monthly. So this is what I've been doing for the last 7 years. I'd like to continue doing that. You can help me also via YouTube memberships for just $2.99. Patreon, you can do whatever you want. So if you know of anybody with some deep pockets who enjoys the content here, send them on over. That's all I can say. All right. Adios, amigos.